Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, and today I'll be showing off Toxtricity. It has a really solid base 114 special attack, which doesn't seem super crazy until you factor in its ability Punk Rock, which boosts the power of sound-based moves by 30%. It learns a bunch of really good sound-based moves, but its best one is Boom Burst, which is already a base 140 power normal type move that becomes over 180 base power with Punk Rock. Along with Terra Normal to boost that damage and a Throat Spray to boost our special attack, this move can really achieve some serious damage. Now let's get into our first battle here. So my opponent for this first match leads off with Qianpao. Cool shiny on this thing. Yeah, it just came out recently, I think. They did the shiny event. And I lead with my Earthworm because I want to get my rocks up, and I don't really have anything that switches into a Qianpao. I'm hoping this thing doesn't have fighting coverage, but it does have the Sacred Sword here, which does a ton of health to me. But luckily I get to live, and I get to set up my Stealth Rocks. And as I don't really have anything that switches into Qianpao, I do just want to stay in here, maybe try to get like a body press off if they'll let me, but they'll probably just click Sacred Sword again, which will take me out. And I actually accidentally click Stealth Rock again, so luckily they do go for a Sacred Sword, which finishes me off, but it wouldn't have mattered anyway. It's like Stealth Rock by accident. And that's going to be the first kill. I don't really have anything on this team that can switch into that. And as I go into my Entei here, I am Assault Vested, but Entei is a pretty good base defense, and I'm thinking maybe I can take, you know, a couple, and try to get some Flame Charges, get some speed going. I do click Flame Charge. I just feel like it's a good option into anything, even if they switch, because then I always get, like, the speed advantage. And they do switch here. They're not going to let me. Probably would have two-shot that with Flame Charge, but they are going to switch into their Arceus here. And this is not an Arceus Poison like I thought it was. By the purple, you would think it's an Arceus Poison, but it is Arceus Dragon. And as I get my Flame Charge, it does very little damage. But all I know about these things is that they love to do Dragon Dance. Yeah, that's me checking. That's me checking to see what kind of Arceus it is, because I thought it was Poison. But I want to get a burn on this thing, because if they start Dragon Dancing, I could really be screwed. But they just go for a Judgment, so it reveals to me like a special one, and because of my Assault Vest, I take just about half from that. I'm still in the green, but I'm like at about half, and as I think about switching, I don't have anything that switches into this, so I go for another Sacred Fire again. I'm like, well, a burn would still be nice just to get the chip off, and this time it does actually get the burn, so that's awesome, and thanks to that Flame Charge, we were able to outspeed there. And as they go for another Judgment here, I'm thinking I can take it, and I can't. It must have been the first one was like a low roll, and the second one was a high roll. So they do take me out there, and they are kind of putting this work in on my team already. I lost my Earthworm, I lost my Girthy Worm, and my Entei, but I have my Azelf here, and I'm thinking that maybe I can get something with this Azelf going. I'm thinking if they keep clicking Judgment, I have Terra Fairy on this, so I can be immune to it, and if they're not max speed, I probably outspeed. So I'm going to go for my Terra Fairy here, try to finish this thing off with a Mystical Power, which it's only 90% accurate and 90 damage, but it boosts your special attack every time it connects. So the goal with this Azelf is to just spam Mystical Power and get a bunch of special attack boosts. So I do actually outspeed, so the Terra wasn't really needed, but it ends up not killing it, which I thought it would. Arceus is just so freaking bulky. And I get a special attack boost, and they do go for the Judgment again. So luckily I did turn into a Fairy type this turn, and I'm immune to it. They take a little from the Burn Chip, but it doesn't quite kill them, which is fine, because now I can finish them with a Mystical Power. I know I outspeed here. And that's going to leave me at +2 special attack, so it's like a free Nasty Plot, and I got to kill the Arceus in getting there. So it's going to boost my special attack again. My +2 special attack. My Focus Sash is still intact, which is very important. Azelf is super, super frail. And they go into their Flutter Mane here, who is one of the most dangerous broken Pokemon ever created. And they take a little from my rocks that I set up. And I have the Shadow Ball for this, and at +2, a Shadow Ball should kill. So they go for a Moon Blast, which is going to knock me down to my Sash. Luckily I have it, and I should be able to finish this thing off with a Shadow Ball. But they get the special attack drop. And at just +1 special attack, a non-stab Shadow Ball does not kill Flutter Mane. This thing has 135 base special defense. And I'm like, damn, well, I probably wouldn't be able to get very far with this anyways. It does finish me with a Moonblast, just because they have that Qianpao in the back, with probably priority and Ice Shard and Sucker Punch. But we do hate to see Azelf not getting its day, so it does go down, and now I'm like, well, we better wrap this up. So I go into my Toxtricity here, and I'm like, well, I can probably take a single... If this thing is locked into Moonblast, I can definitely take Moonblast, because I resist it. So I can get a shift gear off here pretty freely. And they actually switch, so I'm suspicious that they might be like Choice Specs or Choice Scarf or something. And they go into Rowlet, who I'm very excited to see. I included this match specifically because I love Rowlet. He's one of my favorite starters. He was the starter I picked in Alola. I took a break off Pokemon for a couple years, and when I came back, I started playing those games again, and Rowlet was my starter. So I do get my Shift Gear off here. I considered clicking Boom Burst, but I'm like, they might Terra in my face. They don't end up Terraing, and the Sludge Wave is going to just take it out. But I was kind of curious as to what the Rowlet was here for, except morale, and for being cute and selling plushies. I do love him. But that is going to take it out, and then they go back into their Chien Pao now, which is not going to be heavy-duty boots, so they are going to take my rocks damage, and this kind of puts me in a good position now. With my doubled speed, I outspeed this thing. I'm thinking a Sucker Punch is coming, and they don't click Sucker Punch, and luckily a Boom Burst with my Punk Rock boost is going to be more than enough to take out Chien Pao. And because Boom Burst is a sound-based move, it's going to proc my Throat Spray item, which boosts my special attack by 1 stage. So now I'm at +2 speed and +1 special attack, and kind of there's nothing that wants to deal with me, really. And they go into the Flutter Mane, which is going to die with the rocks. Chalk one kill up for the Orthworm, who, you know, is getting his comeuppance from heaven. Toxtricity does a little dance, though. He celebrates that. And they go into Mimikyu here. And I am going to have to hit this thing twice to break its Disguise ability, which gives it a free, like, safety net for 1 hit. I just checked damage here just for no reason. Overdrive is always stronger because of its stab and the Punk Rock boost. And as I knock out its Disguise, it takes a little bit of chip here, and it goes for a Shadow Claw, which Toxtricity is not very not very defensive at all, so it does over half to me, just a base Shadow Claw. And as I overdrive again, it is going to kill it. I was kind of expecting like Shadow Snake follow-up. And that's going to leave them with just 1 Pokemon left here. The Wo-Chien, who I love to see. I love Wo-Chien. I also use one that's shiny like this that came from the event. And they take a little from the rocks, and the thing is, this could be simple. I could just mash my buttons here, but they are going to go for their Terra. They still have that Terra. Thought they were saving it for the Rowlet. They were saving it for this late game Wo-Chien, who, as you'll see, becomes very annoying. So they Terra Fire. That's going to let them take a Sludge Wave. I'm not sure if the Sludge Wave would have killed even without the Terra, but they do go for the Terra, and a Sludge Wave does a nice chunk. It does, you know, gets them down to below half, but they Leech Seed here, which is so annoying. And I'm going to speed up this next part just because it gets very long and annoying. They heal a little from their leftovers, and then they're going to heal a little from the Leech Seed. And this is, you know, they're trying to Wo-Chien me, but it won't happen. So they heal back, and now they're over half. I go for a Boom Burst, but they protect. And so now they're going to heal, you know, my Boom Burst won't go through, and they're going to heal another turn of leftovers. And they're going to get that Leech Seed from me, so basically after all this, they're back to where they were before I even clicked my Sludge Wave, so it's like they're just getting backwards. But now this turn, they're not going to protect. I think about switching, but I'm like, well, they're not going to protect twice in a row. So I just go for the Boom Burst, and at +1, it's not going to be enough. And then they go for an Ingrain. So now at the end of every turn, they're going to get Healing from Leftovers, which is going to heal them up, Healing from Ingrain, which is going to heal them up a little bit, and then Healing from the Leech Seed. So basically, I'm doing like negative damage to this thing, and after another turn, I won't be able to kill it. So I kind of expect a Protect coming through, so I switch into my Groudon here. I'm sure that, you know, I have super effective water damage against this thing, but they are going to heal a little more. They go for the Protect. They heal a little more. And I click Aqua Jet here. I didn't think they were going to Protect again. I thought they were going to try to Leech Seed me. But they do go for a Protect. And I go for the Aqua Jet. It doesn't do anything because they protected. And they're going to heal even more from the leftovers and the Ingrain. And now they're basically back to where they were before I clicked Boom Burst a couple turns ago. So they are really pushing me here. And as I do get my Aqua Jet off this turn, it does like half of what they had. And then they get a Leech Seed off. So now they're going to heal leftovers and the Ingrain and the Seed. And this thing is just... this thing has healed so much. just in a couple of turns that it's been in. But I imagine, so I figure this next turn they're going to go for a Protect. So I click Dragon Dance here as they do Protect, because I'm like, if I can get a Dragon Dance up, probably have enough damage like a Crab Hammer or something. So the Dragon Dance is going to boost my attack and speed. And then they're going to heal again from the Leftovers and the Ingrain and the Leech Seed. And this is just the healthiest, most HP invested Wo-Chien I've ever seen in my life. They're back to so much. But now I outspeed, and at +1 speed, a Crab Hammer is going to finish this off. Luckily, we were not here the rest of our life. We did not get Wo-Chien today. And that's going to wrap up that battle. We won, but we had to work for that. I saw the Rowlet, I thought it was going to be easy. And now we're going to jump into our next match here. For my next match here, my opponent leads off with a Kingdra, as I lead off just with my Earthworm again. I am not sure what Kingdra wants to do. I never say you don't really know about Kingdra lead, but I want to get my rocks up. It looks like they don't really have anything that can get rid of those. As they go for a Hydro Pump, I'm actually max special defense on this Earthworm, so I take less than half from that, which is really impressive. I do get my rocks up here. I am going to heal a little from my Leftovers. Bring me up just a little more. I can definitely take another one, but I do switch here. I'm like, well, if they're going to just click Hydro Pump again, I can go into my Bramblegast here, who is an underrated Pokemon. I really hated on this thing at first when it first came out, when Scarlet and Violet first came out, but he's actually pretty solid. And as they go for a Hydro Pump, I do take it pretty well. I took about as much as Earthworm did, which is funny. And I just go for a Poltergeist here. I figure I'm probably faster. I think I have 90 speed or something. This thing's pretty fast. And it has a 120 physical attack, so with that Poltergeist, it's going to end up doing over half. And as they go for a Blizzard, my Wind Rider ability makes me immune to that, and it raises my attack by 1. So now I'm at +1 attack, and they're pretty solid. This is a really cool ability. This is a cool Pokemon with this ability. It's immune to like a lot of flying-type moves, too. Like, I think Air Slash and Air Cutter it's immune to. But it does... I do knock out the Kingdra with one more Poltergeist. And as they can bring in whatever they want, they also have... I probably should have gone for a Rapid Spin, get my speed up a little. They go into their Shiny Chanpao. It's Shiny Chanpaos all the way down today, it feels like. They come in... They do take rocks, though, so they're not boots, which is going to be awesome. And I really have no business staying in against this. I don't want to use my Terra super early on this, just with my +1 attack, but I probably could have. Sort of Rapid Spinning up and stuff. But I decided to switch into Ninetales here, my Snowy Ninetales. This is kind of a different team I'm working with. The idea with this one is to get an Aurora Veil up and then be able to set up with my Arcanine and my Toxtricity, but I come in and with that defense boost from the snow and I resist it, I take almost nothing from a crunch. And they probably have nothing to do to me here, so I just click Aurora Veil imagining a switch out. And as they do switch out, that's going to be awesome. It's like my Aurora Veil goes up for free. And they're going to bring in their Arcanine here, which comes in and also takes a bunch from the rocks. And as I get my Aurora Veil up, I'm like, alright, that's awesome. I'll be able to take attacks from this Arcanine more than likely. And as they heal a little from their Leftovers, it's going to reveal that this thing is not Choice Band or Choice Scarf or anything, so I don't have to worry about like guessing what item it is. I can just see that it's Leftovers. And I go into my Earthworm here, kind of as like a sack, or kind of as like if they go for a Head Smash, I probably can take one and then take a Flare Blitz and then start body pressing maybe. But as I come in, they just go right for a Flare Blitz. They don't click Head Smash, and that's gonna be enough to two-shot me. And I don't really have anything I want to switch into this. I guess looking back on this, watching this now, I should have switched into my Arcanine here because they're definitely just gonna click Flare Blitz again. But we both take turns healing from our Leftovers, and we both have a little needed. They have way more health than me, and I do it again. I hit Stealth Rock by accident again, and they are just gonna Flare Blitz me. And that's gonna finish me off now. They don't take any recoil because they're Rock Head, obviously. I don't think this thing gets Flash Fire. They heal a little more from the Leftovers. And as I can go to whatever I want, I'm like, this is a pretty good opportunity to start setting up my Arcanine. The idea with this is to get an agility off, and then I'm faster than everything, and I have all these recoil moves that I don't take any recoil from. So as I come in, I just go right for the agility. I consider Terra, because I'm like, if they click a rock-type move, I don't want to be weak to it, but my Terra is flying, so I'd still be weak to it. And as I get my agility up here, I'm like, well, I should be able to take one attack from this thing behind my Aurora Veil. And as they go for a Stone Edge, Flare Blitz with Stone Edge is interesting, because I think Stone Edge is the same accuracy as Head Smash, and it's way less damage. They heal a little more from their Leftovers. But I'm at +2 speed, so I just go for my head smash here. It should be enough to kill. It's a huge damage move. And it is, it does kill it. And the best part about this Hisuian Arcanine is that you don't take recoil damage, so you can just fire off these huge power attacks with, like, no recoil. And as they go into this Annihilate here, I do hate seeing this thing. I mean to click Flare Blitz, but I think I misclicked again. I just clicked Head Smash. I don't know why, but it does do a considerable amount still. It's resisted, but it's not going to do enough. I should have clicked Flare Blitz, but I take a little from the Rocky Helmet. I don't think any one thing would have killed this, though, and they finished me off with a close combat, which is awesome because it lowers this thing's defenses, so it's going to make it easier to take out. And I imagine they probably, through the Aurora Veil, they're not going to be able to do a lot to Toxtricity, so this is a really good Toxtricity entry point. I consider Espeon, but I'm like, well, I should use up my Aurora Veil turns while I have them. So I think as I go back into Toxtricity now, you bring him back out nice and pink. And I'm just going to shut off a Shift Gear here. I imagine they don't stay in, but they actually do stay in, and I outspeed, so it's probably not a max speed Annihilate, but I think this thing is faster than me, naturally. So I get that speed boost. The attack boost I don't really care about. It's more for just the speed. This thing doesn't get agility. And they go for a Phantom Force, which I'm faster, so on the next turn, I'm going to go first. So I just Terra Normal here. Because when they lock themselves into that, on the next turn, they're going to have to use the Phantom Force, and as a normal type, I can just be totally immune to it and take no damage at all. I do have to click Shift here again, because I'm not going to be able to hit this while it's invisible. So as I do Terra Normal, I put this big rock on my head, I Terra Normal, go for my Shift Gear again. So now I'm at +4 speed, and +2 attack, which doesn't really matter, but this +4 speed is pretty crazy. And as a Phantom Force, yeah, it is not going to affect me at all. And our Aurora Veil wears off, but it doesn't matter, because now we're kind of in a really good position with Toxtricity. At -1 special defense, an Overdrive definitely kills an Annihilate. That Punk Rock boost, so that's going to be awesome. And that's going to activate my Throat Spray. So now I'm at +4, +4 speed, +2 physical attack, and +1 special attack. Unfortunately, I don't have any physical attacks. I'm just a special attacker with Punk Rock, because I'm pretty sure all sound-based moves are special. But they go to the Qianpu, because he's brown, and he steps on those rocks again. He's going to keep coming and taking a bunch from those rocks because he's an ice type. And I just finish it off with a Boom Burst. I imagine I probably take a lot from a Sucker Punch, but they don't Sucker Punch here, so a Boom Burst can be way more than enough to take out half of the health on with that Terra Normal. Does a ton of damage. Now we're riding pretty good with Toxtricity. They don't really have anything that answers me well. They go into their Pecha Run here, but these things aren't... Pecha Runs are more physically defensive, and I think even if this one was built specially defensive, an Overdrive probably still kills at +1 with that Punk Rock boost, and it does. Just blows this thing away. I don't know what kind of build this was, but it cannot take a single Overdrive. And that's going to leave their final Pokemon, who I was kind of the most scared about this whole time, is their Blood Moon Ursaluna, who is such a broken Pokemon. It's crazy strong, but even from full, without the rocks, I should be able to kill this with a Boom Burst. But they are going to Terra, and I'm like, oh my god, if this is Terra Ghost, I'm so cooked, I'm so done. But it's going to be just Stellar Terra, and then I'm like, oh my god, is a Stellar Terra Vacuum Wave enough to to kill me? It might be. And they are going to Terra, but they don't go for a Vacuum Wave, and a Boom Burst is going to really, with the Terra Normal, blow this thing away from full. These things aren't really specially defensive. They're also more physically defensive, kind of like Pecha Run. And that's going to wrap it up. Toxtricity came in, swept, and conquered, and that was... we didn't even take any hits on him on that one. And that was just a crazier match. I thought Arcanine, I could have played my Arcanine better, but that's going to bring us into our last match here. For the last match here, my opponent leads off with Garchomp, as I lead off with my Ninetales again. I want to get my Aurora Veil up, try to get some of my sweepers set up. But as they send in Garchomp, I'm like, well, Alolan Ninetales outspeeds Garchomp. Don't ask why I have just 6 PP on Blizzard. I used a PP up instead of a PP max. But I do outspeed it, and the Blizzard just takes it out. So they were probably expecting me to Aurora Veil, probably trying to get their Stealth Rocks up or something. But a Blizzard's going to just knock it out, and as I switch into Skeledirge here, I'm like, okay, I'm kind of effed against this thing. I don't really have anything that handles it, but I can get an Aurora Veil up, and that'll help. I don't really have anything on my team that's like specially defensive. I wish I had my Assault Vest Entei, but I did not bring him this battle. And as they go for a Torch Song here. It's going to do almost half even through the Aurora Veil, so I'm like, well, shit, I better switch. And I actually switch, and the Quick Claw activates before I switch, so I didn't know that. So going into Espeon here, I'm like, well, now I know they're Quick Claw. And as I switch in my Espeon, I'm like, through the Aurora Veil, Espeon's like base 110 special defense or 100 special defense or something. And I take it really well. Actually, I take way less than half. And it's going to let me get off a Shadow Ball here. I know it probably won't kill, but I'm Life Orb, and this Skeledirge is normally not specially defensive, and it almost kills in one. And I lose some of my HP, and at +1, or +2 even, God, their Shadow Ball is going to kill me even through the Aurora Veil. I'm not that bulky. But so that's going to take out my Espeon, but we did get that big giant chip off with the Shadow Ball, and that was helpful. So now as I go into whatever I want, I pick my Toxtricity. I'm like, well, time to try to get this guy rolling. I don't imagine that I can sweep the rest of the team with this. But I did take out their Garchomp already, so they don't really have a ground type that can come in on an Overdrive. So I decided to finish this thing off, and it's Quick Claw procs again, and I was like not wanting to set up because I didn't want to give this thing too many chances to hit me, but with that Quick Claw, it is going to be able to do over half with his Shadow Ball. And an Overdrive does take it out, and that's going to proc my Third Spray, which is going to give me that +1 to my special attack. So that's awesome, but I am not very fast. I don't have my Shift Gear up, so that's kind of my next priority, is to get that Shift Gear up. And as they go into their Gengar now, I'm like, well, this could be a prime opportunity to Shift Gear. Because if they Shadow Ball into my Terra Normal, I'll be able to be immune to it and get that Shift Gear up. I consider just Overdriving anyways, but I don't think I can take a Sludge Wave. Or Sludge Bomb, or whatever this thing is carrying. So I do just go for my Terra Normal here. That's going to let me be immune to a Shadow Ball incoming if they click that, or I can't imagine they Will-O-Wisp or anything. They definitely don't Sludge Bomb. So as they Shadow Ball again, I am going to be immune to it. I take nothing from that, and I get my Shift Gear up. So that's going to boost up my speed. So now I'm at +2 speed. I get that attack boost. But I have +1 special attack from the Skeledirge and +2 speed, so I'm thinking, like, well, now I can definitely wreak some havoc, as long as they don't have any Focus Sashes or anything. Because I don't think I have any rocks on this team. That's going to take out the Gengar. No Focus Sash there. And now we're moving pretty well. If they had they have a Clodsire in the back, who, if it's unaware, I do very little damage to, but they don't go into it yet. They're going to go into Lucario first, who I'm expecting like an Extreme Speed or like a Vacuum Wave, but they don't click either of the priority. They just stay in, and they're not Focus Sash, so Punk Rock +1 Overdrive is going to just eliminate that. Lucario I don't think is very bulky to begin with. And now they can go into whatever they want again, and they decide to bring in the Primeape here, which is something you don't see a lot, but even if this thing is Eviolite, I kill it with a +1 Terra Normal Punk Rock Boom Burst, and then that's going to just blow it away. These things are usually pretty bulky from the Eviolite. It gives unevolved Pokemon a +1 to their defenses. And as our Aurora Veil wears off, I'm like, well, that really only mattered for the Skeledirge, so I'm glad we set that up and stopped that Dirge, because now they go into their Clodsire. It's going to be their last Pokemon here, and just like that, Toxtricity blew through this team. I click Overdrive here. I'm trying to get just as much damage as possible. If this thing is specially defensive, it probably doesn't kill, and if it's unaware, it definitely doesn't kill, because it won't recognize my +1 special attack boost. And they go for this last turn Terra. They go for Terra Poison, which just lets them be hit by an Overdrive if I were to click it, but I click Boom Burst for more damage, just neutrally. And a Terra Normal Punk Rock Boom Burst actually ends up killing this Clodsire, which reveals it might have been more physically defensive or more physically built. That's probably why they didn't send it out right away, because an Overdrive is going to just take it away. And just like that, I mean, Toxtricity blew through that team in just a few minutes. And that's going to wrap it up. And that really shows how Toxtricity can really just go crazy and take it away. And that's going to be the end of the video for today. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you next week. Bye-bye.